Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anton Kraler. I will present you from low-rise to high-rise buildings, fire safety of timber frame facades. Timber construction and fire safety are two terms which often lead to discussions, especially with multi-story timber buildings or even high-rise timber buildings. The scientific investigations presented here demonstrate that a timber facade provides sufficient safety for people and the environment. The research work on prefabricated timber frame facade systems were carried out at the Department of Timber Construction at University Innsbruck. There are several building classes. BC1 to BC3 are low-rise buildings. BC4 and BC5 are mid-rise buildings, and buildings higher than 22 meters fire escape level are high-rise buildings. For the first three building classes, the material requirements for fire resistance are low, which means combustible materials like wood can be used. For mid-rise buildings, higher standards are required. Onto an existing wall made of concrete or bricks, an adaptation layer is attached. A timber frame facade is hanged with a newly developed connector system called Sherpa FCON onto this layer. This facade system can be used for existing and new buildings. The timber frame facade element has been designed and developed for new buildings and for the thermal insulation of multi-story buildings which reach 22 meters at the top floor level. The fire behavior requirement for this system is BD1 in Austria. In all the tests at the EBC Linz, BD0 was reached. The facade layer you see listed in the table, one finding was that we can use sustainable and ecological materials, for example cellulose. The advantage of testing a range of materials is that they can be included in the classification report. For high-rise buildings, minimum fire behavior of A2-D1 is required. That means only incombustible materials must be used. In the test we could prove that the timber does not contribute to the fire within 90 minutes after fire exposure. We have to ask if the present code limitations are justified. In this display you can see the different layers. There is a timber frame filled with mineral wool which has been melting point of more than 1000 degrees Celsius. On top there are two gypsum fiber boards. The facade system is the exterior part of the wall and therefore we measured the external fire exposure. You can see the test specifics on this slide. This slide shows the temperature increase in a 90 minutes fire test with two different protections coverings. On the left side we have a double blank gypsum fiber board and on the right a one-layered gypsum board with an additional small layer. The results show that with the left variant we meet the code requirement after 90 minutes. In the right variant, we get into a critical phase after about 80 minutes, so this variant does not meet the code standards. The scientific results show that the use of timber in prefabricated facade elements can meet the required criteria if the proper materials choice and the correct construction of the individual layers is observed. This facade system was classified as BD0. It meets the protection targets. In Austria, this facade system can be used for buildings up to BC5 with more than 6 stories and a fire escape level of up to 22 meters. The investigation showed that wooden substructures can be used and they do not add to a fire within a 90 minutes period. Therefore, we have to rethink if we can use combustible materials in high-rise buildings, but we must always look at the individual building structures and size to make the right decision. Thank you for your attention.